What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy, C-Dub, aka Whit, coming at you guys with another commentated video, and this time it is the 58th annual Chevron Manhattan Beach Grand Prix. I know, don't persecute me. I have skipped over the CBR 7 of 7 event. Those commentated videos are coming. Please just bear with me, but I want to get this one up. This was a great and amazing event. So as we're getting started right now, this is the 35 plus category 3-4 race. This is my first race of the day. This race went down at about 9:45, scheduled for 9:30, but of course we were just a little bit behind schedule. So the race started at 09:45 and we are on our way. There was about 57 riders in this event. And just to give you some quick stats, last year I did this event, the 57th, and I did 2 events on that day. I did the category 4, and I got 47th of 57. Then I went and did the same day registration, and for $15 more, and I did this race that you're seeing right here. And I was pulled from the race, receiving a DNF, which also stands for did not finish. So this race was kind of like redemption again, just like Tour de Marietta. This race, this event was redemption. I wanted to come in here, and of course I came in with goals. I wanted to finish, of course. I wanted to podium. I wanted to win, but my main and ultimate objective was to get a top 10 finish, simply because all I need is one more top 10 with fields of 31 or more, and your boy is eligible for category 3. As I mentioned before, this race had 57 riders in it, so this race qualified if I could have gotten top 10. And you will see what the results will be at the end if you haven't already looked at the vlogger video that has recently posted. But if you haven't seen that video, you will see what I get at the end of this commentated video, which is roughly over 38 minutes. So sit back, relax, or clip in and get ready for a nice little ride with your boy C-Dub at the Manhattan Beach Grand Prix. Alrighty, so right now we are on our way to complete one lap. I believe this course is just over a mile long. As you can see, the top right of the screen, you can see the course layout. So it's got 2 U-turns in it, and it kind of bends to the left to the start finish. So you can see that there at the bottom left of the screen. You see my cadence, my speed, my heart rate. You see the gradient, and also you see my power. I know, ladies and gentlemen, I am letting you down. I changed Union Sport saddles to the Harz saddle, and because of the different geometry of that saddle, I don't have enough rails to put on my rear GoPro, but I do have something in store for that in the very near future. So right now we're tucked in. We're about to come through the start finish. I am sitting by Zarab right here, 8:55, and I am behind Kevin right here with Velo Pasadena in front of me. And so we're making our way. So I'm sitting on Kevin's wheel and we're making our way up. We just went through the start finish and we're coming through turn number 1. Turn number 1 is really a sweeping turn. And it's got a little divot in the ground, like a little U-ditch there. This is an intersection, and you see they have everything guardrailed off and everything. So now we're coming on the, I guess you could say, on the east side of the course. And it's going to be a little bit of uphill sections here. So right now, just sitting in, trying to find the wheel that I need to sit on, trying to see where the wind is at. But of course, you see we have a lot of obstacles on the left side, or the left side being the trees. We have a lot of obstacles on the right side being the houses and the barricade walls, so forth and so on. So there's not a grand breeze going from the left to the right or right to the left. So really just trying to find a wheel to sit on. Everybody's still kind of getting out all their nervousness and just finding the mannerism of this race, the characteristic of this race. So just finding this wheel right here that I'm sitting on right now. I've actually seen him locally here in Chula Vista at one of our rides that goes down every Wednesday called the Wednesday Hunt Parkway training. And so I've seen him before. He's wearing the CFT kit, which again, they race, I believe, out of Tijuana. And so I said, okay, this is a good strong wheel. So I'm gonna jump on that for the time being. So I'm sitting on his wheel, and we're making our way up. And his name is Samuel. And so sitting on Samuel's wheel, I believe this is Rooney right there, 809 with the SBW. SBW, which I believe is South Bay Wheelman. They also helped sponsor this event. So kudos to South Bay Wheelman for an amazing event. Again, this is the 58th annual, so it's been going down for 58 years. So kudos to Chevron and kudos to SBW for putting on an amazing event. So right now we're coming down the hill. We've gone through the second turn. You saw it's kind of a little dip turn, and made it through that. And we're now going. You see we have a -3%, and this is the area pretty much where, if you've ever seen Justin Williams' Manhattan Beach or Nation's #1 Beast video, this guy put out over 1,800 watts in this downhill section right here to catch a guy off the front and to take the win. So right now I'm sitting behind Russ of IRZ Racing. Right here to my left is Wes of Big Orange 825, and we're making our way to the start finish. This is that left-hand turn you see right here. As we come to the start finish, it kicks up to 1% right there. So everything is looking pretty good. My heart rate's at 175, going 26 miles an hour. My cadence is 86 revolutions per minute, putting out some wattage, of course, putting out a little bit of wattage right there. So we just went through the start finish as I'm tucked behind Wes, and we are making our way. So about to go through this long sweeping left-hand turn. So of course this course has two left-hand turns, and it used to be flipped the other way. So it used to be a right-hand turn course, but in this section right here, coming down the hill, going through this turn, the opposite direction, of course, being clockwise, there was a lot of crashes as they would come around the bend going to the start finish. So they flipped it to be counterclockwise, and this is the direction in which you see us going right now. So right now I'm sitting on Carlos's wheel of Dare, and again we're coming. We see there we have Samuel going on up the road, sitting on Carlos's rear right here as we're making our way up this climb. You see it's 2%, so it's kind of undulating. It changes from 1% to 2%. I believe there's also a 3% section of this course, and that does tax the leg, but if you get inside the Peloton, you can actually draft and kind of just roll with the group without having to put out so much wattage, and that's the benefit of drafting. 802 right there to our left in the blue and lime green kit, that is Lewis, and Lewis actually made a couple attempts off the front, recovered and tried again, and this is Lewis right here to my immediate left with the Cycle Pro kit on. And see, he's making an attempt right now. So he's moving up. I could have jumped on that wheel, but again, being a larger rider, I felt just a little bit safer to sit back here behind, I want to say his name is Frank 840 of Big Orange, but we're making through the turn. So I'm losing a couple of wheels here, just dropping back a little bit. And we come to this little, right after we come out of that turn, it kicks up a little bit. So I think this is probably about a 2% little bump in the road. We come over that, and that's when you're able to really get some momentum, and you'll see here how fast we go down this hill. So right now going 31 miles an hour down this hill as I'm sitting behind Carlos, as well as Seth of Big Orange. And so yes, of course, I try to get everybody's name so I can speak to who they are versus just explaining who they are by kit and or by bike, but speaking to them or calling them out by name because they were blessed with that name. So utilizing that as we've all been given our name. So here again, I'm coming up on Wes. I have right in front of me Louis to my left right there. And so I'm tucked in, trying to stay in the middle of the group the best that I can, just to stay out of the wind, because again, I am, as what they would call a Clydesdale. I'm a larger body rider. And funny thing was, me and my wife was just watching the Tour de France, and I was noticing how small all those Pro Tour guys are. And I'm like, man, I cannot get that small. If I get that small, y'all might have to send me to the hospital because something is not right. I am naturally now, from working out all the years for football and trying to get big and buff in the military, I only can get so small. So looking at these Pro Tour guys, I'm like, man, I cannot get down to that size. So being a larger rider, you know, I have to really race smart. I have to be mindful of the wind. I have to understand whose wheels I'm jumping on. So right now you see I'm sitting behind Big Orange. I'm getting my vitamin C. I'm staying healthy because I'm getting their draft from all this orange, and just sitting on Wes Morgan's wheel right now. And we are making our way back to the adulating climb section. And you see again, we got Louis here going up the road a little bit. 826 is Reed, which is right in front of Louis in the black and neon green kit. And I was around Reed a little bit as well because he is, again, a larger rider. And so, of course, I'm looking for larger guys who can punch a hole in the wind so I can really tuck in behind them. I can kind of surf their wheel to find that pocket of less wind. And if I can get in that pocket of less wind, then it's better for me because it doesn't cause me to have to use so much effort, so much energy to stay with the group, to stay on a wheel, and to have that energy in the tank later in the race when it truly matters the most. So right now you see heart rate is at 168, 169 beats per minute, going 26, 27 miles an hour. Revolute, my cadence is really, really good, staying mid to high 90, you know, mid 80s to high 90s. So that's really, really good. You see here, we're going through the turn. I'm coming up on Reed right now, and we're going through this turn. Again, it kind of kicks up right here. So as you carry your momentum through this turn, it will kind of kick you outside. That centrifugal force will kick you outside a little bit. So you really have to be mindful of this turn because you come over the climb and then you turn, do that little double dip down into the turn number 2, right back into a little kicker. And then now, as you see, we're going down this hill. So going 37 miles an hour. My goodness, got the super tuck going down in front of me. We were going 37 miles an hour. That's fast. So that just shows you it's a negative 4%, so you know that's a really good dip down in the on this course. And so again, just trying to find those pockets that I can slide in just so that I can draft, because this part goes up a little bit. As you see, it's 1% right here behind Reed, and so it goes up 1%, and this is coming to the actual finish. 804 up there in the Assos kit, that is Elijah Baker, who is a phenomenal racer, has many medals, many jerseys, and so it was amazing to be able to get out here with Elijah Baker, rocking that Assos skin suit up there. And so again, just watching people, trying to be familiar with everybody that's around me, so I know what wheel to go with and what wheel to stay off of, because sometimes you can find yourself on the wrong wheel, and that can hurt you a lot. You see here, we got people helping people by pushing them up into position. I'm a big advocate of keeping your hands on your handlebars the best that you can. So wasn't a big fan of that, but you know, to each his own. And so here we just jumped in, and now I'm on Michael's wheel. That was Michael that kind of helped one of the guys up. So sitting here behind Michael, and we're coming again to the climb. So again, it's only 2 turns in this whole course, so it's not a lot of, you know, talking about what line to take through turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. There's only 2 turns here. And what I typically do is looking at the direction in which the course is going. If it's counterclockwise or clockwise, that in and of itself lets me know what line I need to take. If it's counterclockwise, that means we're going to be making left-hand turns, which means I need to be pretty much on the left-hand side of the course, trying to stay on the inside. And if it's clockwise, being on the right-hand side of the course, same information. So, and of course, because the Peloton or these races are living organisms, it's consistently moving. If you're not moving forward, they say you're moving back, you know, so you have to consistently stay active, stay engaged with what's going on in front of you, because people try to go off the front, people try to attack from the back, you know. And I know, not having that rear camera, you guys have gotten spoiled, and I've gotten spoiled by having that rear camera, really seeing what's going on behind me. But so I'm really, really sorry I don't have that, but I will. Trust me, there is something in store for that rear camera, and I'm excited about it, and you will see in the near future. So right now, again, sitting to the rear left of Elijah Baker, as we're coming through turn number 2, you kind of see how it kind of does that little dip down. Now we're at the bottom, and now we're coming up over this little bump, this little, you know, this little climb, I guess you'd call it, a little bump in the road, for the lack of better terms. But I'm just sitting on Elijah Baker's wheel, and the reason why I said this is a great spot for me to sit in on is because Elijah knows, he's been doing this for a long time, and that's one thing that I noticed about, being military and not being from California, being originally from Kansas City, Missouri, where bicycle racing, at least for me, wasn't a big scene. Coming out here, a lot of these guys whom I'm racing against, riding with, they have been riding bikes for a very, very, very long time. And so I'm jealous, hashtag jealous, because they've been able to partake in this for so long, become so knowledgeable. There goes Michael again, giving Elijah a little push. I've been, they've been around this Ronnie Chalk right here with SC Velo. He's coming back, and Mike tells him to jump in on his wheel like nobody's behind him. Hence me. But anyway, I know that Ronnie Chalk is a good, strong racer as well. And so yet again, to prove my point, a lot of these guys have been riding their bikes for a very, very long time. They've been on the racing scene for a very long time. So they know each other's capabilities. They know their strengths, know their weaknesses. Everybody kind of keeps up with everybody, especially on the race scene. So everybody knows what's going on with everybody, because we're racing often, we do group rides often, and because I live pretty much like 2.5, 3 hours away from most of the guys I race against, they again have the benefit and the blessing of doing these local group rides with a lot of the guys that they actually race against. So with me coming on the scene and really just meeting them and infusing myself in with them, I'm watching them. Because they're a lot more knowledgeable and have a lot more experience than I do. And so just watching what they do, riding how they ride, being where they are, and then staying on their wheel the best of my ability, it's actually helping me a lot to just learn what moves to make, what moves not to make, where to be, where not to be, so forth and so on. And so I really enjoy this. So right now, again, sitting on Ronnie's wheel, got Kevin right there on the outside. And I believe here to my left is 829. I believe that's Carl. To my left right there, there's Reed going up on the inside. And then so we're right now, we're going down, we're going 31 miles an hour because it kind of dips a little bit on this eastward side of the course. And it's going to come up a little bit again. It's probably about 1%, going to come up. And then we're going to find ourselves encroaching that left-hand turn that does that dip in the midst of the turn. So right now, I'm sitting in a good spot. I got Peter Verth up there, 842 with the DNA Green Kid. Got Elijah Baker, Ronnie Chalk. We have Louis right here. We have Carl to my right. So I'm in a good spot right now, and everything is well. 851, who just came up over the top of me. That is Jason right here with the S2 Bosch kit to my immediate right there, about 2 o'clock. And so Jason, he came up, and we have 838 right there. That is Jesus. So again, just being mindful of everybody that's around me and seeing and watching what everybody's doing. So see here, we got a little gap to my about 11 o'clock right there in front of Ronnie. But I go outside to the right because I do know that Peter Verth, congratulations to you, Peter. You just catted up to Cat 3. And so I knew that was a good wheel to sit on. Peter's got an engine. He's a breakaway attempt genius. He will consistently attempt to do a breakaway. So I knew being on his wheel, he would find or maneuver to a good spot for me to be able to really get in and maybe even move up. So right now, just again, trying to stay inside. If I'm not totally on the inside or totally to the left of the Peloton, I try to stay in the middle of the group, in the middle of the body of the Peloton. Not trying to be out there where 855 is, but staying right here where I'm at right now, so that I have bodies on my left and on my right side, so that the hole that's punched in the wind can maneuver around me a lot easier, again, as I said before, so I don't have to work so hard to stay with the group. As you see, my heart rate is 148 beats a minute. That is amazing, and we've already been in this for 19 minutes, so we have roughly 18 minutes left to go. And at this moment, as we go through this turn, as we accelerate, I ask that you would accelerate and hit that subscribe button. If you don't have a YouTube account, I ask that you would go ahead and set up that free account, come back and subscribe to the Crib with Roadrunner family. And long story short with that, what are you subscribing to? Me sharing my journey from being a nobody going to somebody, life behind bars on 2 wheels. There it is. Crit racer, group ride, training rides, unpackagings, unboxings, throwing it all at you. Hopefully you will join the family. We're on our way, and it's been a blast. I'm looking forward to more videos, more rides, more time spent with you, every single one of you. So right now, as you see, we've come up this little climb on the eastward side of the course. My heart rate is still good. I've always said that in the 160s is a good racing recovery heart rate for myself. Especially once your heart rate has been pushed up into the 170, 180 range. For me, I have realized that being in the 160s is a good recovery heart rate for me. So right now we're going 22 miles an hour, and my heart rate is at 162, climbing a grade of 2 to 3%. My heart rate's at 162, putting out from anywhere from 250 to 450 watts. My heart rate's still in the 160s. All is well. My cadence is fluctuating because I'm in the middle of this Peloton, not having to spin so much to stay relevant, to stay current with this group. So again, we're making it through the turn. We have Juan right here, or excuse me, we have John right here in the N Cycles kit. To my left, 850, that's John, and he is a strong rider. And I kind of kicked myself in the rump shaker because I raced against him in CBR 7 of 7. Haven't posted those videos yet, y'all, so please bear with me. Those videos are coming. I know everything is out of sync. It's not, the timeline is not right. Just bear with me, but those CBR videos are coming. So 850 right here to my 1 o'clock. John, he's a very strong rider. He's a category 3 racer as well, and he knows how to maneuver to find those positions. And I knew to jump on his wheel. I should have sat on his wheel and enjoyed the ride, and my ending result would have been a lot better. You see right here, I go gutter to move up a few spaces to get back up on Peter Ver's wheel. So I take the gutter just so that I can move up and get a little bit better position. But again, you gotta know who's in the group. If you don't know, just look at them. I will actually kind of give you just a little hint. Look at people's legs. You know, if you don't know who the racers are or the routers are that are in your group, I'm gonna be honest with you, look at their legs. If their legs are really defined and really cut and chiseled and shaved, follow them. You know, jump on that wheel. And at the same time, once the ride starts, look at who's spinning, because those revolutions per minute, if a person's legs are spinning real smooth, just like some Crisco oil, some butter, I mean, their spin is just beautiful. Jump on that wheel because they have fresh legs and they will tote you and carry you where you need to go. So those are some little inside scoop tricks that Whit uses. But yes, the main point of all of that is make sure their legs are shaven. If their legs are shaven, they're all right with me. I'm meddling. Because there are going to be some guys out here that do not have shaven legs that will crush you, and you just got to be ready. So if their legs are not shaven, which I didn't want this to be a staple in this commentary, but if their legs are not shaven, just pull them aside. Just pull them aside and talk to them for a little bit. I'm, again, joking. But so you see me right here as I'm joking, I'm moving up. I'm moving up on the climb portion because I spoke with my coach before the race and a few other individuals, and they asked me, where do I think the best place to move up and get placements was? I gave them my ideal locations because of watching footage and watching films of this manner, and seeing where the Peloton lulls or slows down a lot. And I knew that right as we're coming to the climb and into the climb on the east side of this course, that the pace will slow down. And so that's kind of where I moved up at, as you saw recently. But anyway, back to the race. So right now I'm coming up on, I believe, Jason's wheel, and we're making our way through turn number 2. We have Louis right there. I got John to my right and number 850 going around Louis, staying on Carl's wheel, again making some move up. There's Reed right there. So we're making our way up the Peloton. And again, as you see, sometimes the Peloton will swell and then it will come back really, really tight. So you really have to be mindful of your position. And the one thing we all have in common as racers, as bike riders, as cyclists, is that we all have in common that it is our responsibility to watch our own front wheel. And so that is something that we all have to be very mindful of. And it's your job to be watching that. So right here in the Serious Cycling camo kit, that is Furman. I've raced with him at Ontario. And again, we have Reed to my right. We have Samuel in front of me. We have Kevin right there with the Velo Pasadena kit. And again, around, I can still see Elijah Baker. I can see Wes Morgan up there in the big orange kit to my about 11 o'clock. So I'm tucked in with some good riders. We still got Louis right there on the inside. I have Peter Verth to the far outside, rocking the fitter shoes from Fitter Lives with Espen and Ben. So again, now you see me moving back inside. And what do? I move inside and I pass a few bodies. Now I'm up here where Wes Morgan is, which he's sitting right behind Ronnie Chalk next to Elijah Baker. We have Rooney up there with SBW. So again, I go inside and I make up about 5 places, which puts me close to the front peloton. Now, this is the interesting thing with this race. There was a gentleman in the very beginning of this commentary named Enrique, or I can't remember his name, but anyway, he broke away. He's done RAM right across America, and he holds the individual time of the world, and he's racing. And of course, because I believe he's French, and because now he's racing in America, he has to go through all the category levels. So to make a long story short, pretty much he broke away off the front, and then there was another guy who was also broke away. So right now you see the peloton, you see me up to the front, but you have to also know that there's 2 guys that are broken away. So we're all in a sense racing for 3rd place right here. So right now you see there's a little gap in front of me. So what do? I hunker down, heart rate's up at 176, going 34 miles an hour. My cadence is up was over 100. Now I'm coasting. But what do I have to do? Because there's nobody coming underneath me. There's nobody coming over the top of me. What are they probably doing? We don't know, because there's no rear camera, Whit. So you need to get that fixed. I know, ladies and gentlemen, I know, working on it. So what do I have to do? I have to close that gap down. So what I did, I allowed my momentum, my body size, my body weight to help propel me forward. You see here, we're going through 4 or 5% climb, and I have caught in the group. So right now I'm sitting on Rooney's wheel, and we are getting very, very close to the finish. So we got about 11 minutes left in this video. So again, I do thank you for your time. I do thank you for sitting and watching this video, or being on your trainer and watching this video, and also listening to me yap away. I appreciate you. And if you have spent this much time with me today, I ask that you will subscribe. All right, so right now I'm sitting on Rooney's wheel, and we're going down the hill again, going 31 miles an hour. You see my heart rate's at 180, so it's a little bit elevated because I had to chase back on. So right now I'm sitting about 5th, 6th wheel. We got Peter Verth going on the outside, attacking. Again, he's a breakaway attempt master. And I say attempt because he's been in a few that I know of, breakaways that have actually successfully worked. And one of them was at Carson. He broke away with I want to say Felipe as well as Isaac at CBR Carson, and they broke away and they held off. So right now you see how sometimes what'll happen is a guy will try to break away, and that's what I say he's a breakaway attempt master. So he's broken away or attempted it, but now he's coming back. And now we have a counterattack going on the inside. So just to the far left over there, that's Peter Verth who initiated that first breakaway, but that was brought back. So right now what we have up the road is we have a counterattack. So somebody, when that pace has slowed down drastically, somebody else said, well, that's the perfect time to go because everybody's looking to recover. Now we got Louis chasing after that break, that counter. So right now I'm sitting behind, I want to say that's Pale of I believe that's Lagrange in front of me. So I'm sitting on Pale's wheel, and again I'm up here near the front. So what do? I don't totally stay committed to that wheel because I'm too far forward, and I still have to be mindful of the finish. So I kind of lull a little bit. Furman comes over the top of me, and I'm just trying to stay active. So I jump back on Pale's wheel. Maybe he would chase that down because somebody else is working. So he kind of gives some effort. So I just sit on his wheel. I don't come over the top of him. I sit on his wheel and let him work. And of course, we have more people come up. That's a factory bikes. We got Rooney now working. So now we got Ronnie Chalk working. So now what's happened is that Pale sees enough people coming over the top of him. He's willing to stay committed. So then I can then shift from his wheel to jump on Elijah's wheel. So now I'm sitting on Elijah Baker's wheel. He's sitting on Wes Morgan's wheel. Wes is sitting on Ronnie Chalk's wheel. Ronnie's sitting on Rooney's wheel, and we're all progressing forward. Again, my heart rate's at 174, going 29 miles an hour. We got Reed right there to about my 10 o'clock now. So Reed is now next to Elijah. So I'm in a good spot because I can just sit here and I can enjoy this draft, and I can just hang on and make it up to turn number 2, as you will see here momentarily. So we make it through turn number 2 safely, successfully. Elijah's out of the saddle, and I've learned it's okay to come out the saddle sometimes. And so through my time of riding, I've been having to let go of some things, reintroduce things to myself, and I will speak about that really, really briefly. The first thing was coming from Maryland to California racing. In Maryland, they told me I was hammering too much. I was doing a lot of long distance riding. And so doing 70, 80-mile rides, I was doing too much hammering. They told me stop hammering. So when I got here to California, I was more mindful of spinning. Well, then people were like, well, we're doing like criterium style racing, so you got to keep up the pace. You got to stay on the wheel. So therefore, I had to let go of that tight hold I had on spinning to then be comfortable with hammering. And then having both of them in my toolbox, having both of them in my rear jersey pockets, I now have to know when to use both of those tools, whether to spin or whether to hammer. Another one was coming out of the saddle and staying in the saddle. Well, also from research and reading, you don't use as much wattage coming or staying in the saddle. So I have that in my jersey pocket. But then at the same time, I realized that guys leave me when they come out the saddle because they're putting out more wattage. So I was like, I need to save that wattage so I would never come out the saddle. But I have recently learned that it's okay, as we see here with Elijah Baker, to come out of the saddle, because what that does, yes, it uses some more power, but it also helps you to generate, it's almost like you have a better ratio of energy or wattage to speed, that conversion. So coming out the saddle sometimes is necessary to maintain a tempo that is needed to stay on a wheel. Hopefully that makes sense. So I have all that stuff in my saddle, my jersey pockets. And as you see here, we got a tax going underneath. But I just want you to know that you have to know when to spin, to hammer, to stay in the saddle, and when to come out the saddle, because all those tools, those snacks, those snippets will help you if they're utilized at the right time. And I can't sit here and tell you when to use them. You just have to know that those tools are there for the using, and when it's time to use that tool, to reach back in that jersey pocket and utilize it, apply it, so that you can stay relevant in a race. All right, so now I'm on Furman's wheel, and we are getting close, I think, to the end. We have about just under 5 minutes left in this race, so I'm going to say that that's about 2 laps to go. So right now I'm close to John, sitting behind Palais, and we're in good position right here. We're in a good position. Again, I can see the front of the Peloton, so I'm probably about top 15 right now, not including the breakaway. So I'm about top 15 right now. I'm in a good spot. Again, I got Reed in front of me, and like I told you, I was going to be on, me and Reed were going to be around each other a lot. Ronnie Chalk comes up on the outside of me. So I know Ronnie Chalk because he's actually giving me in-race coaching at one of the CBR Dominguez Hill races, which, again, you guys haven't seen yet because I haven't posted them. Sorry. So Ronnie Chalk comes up. I know that that's a good wheel to sit on. So you see I got bodies coming on my left side and on my right side. So in a sense, there's been a surge. We've slowed down. This group has come up. And I'm going to tell you now, when that happened, your boy was in bad position. When that surge happened, I didn't make a move up with those groups. So I got stuck back where I'm at. And I think this right here is what is going to be the precursor to what happened at the finish of this race. So right now, you see me trying to surf wheels. I got Big Orange right here. We got 2 guys. So in my mind, possible lead out. I'm looking at the legs. So, looking at the legs, see who's still moving. I see that. We got Carl right here to my left. Legs look decent. We got Samuel going underneath. All right, he's moving up. So everybody's now moving up to the front, but they don't want to be too far forward. You see Ronnie Chalk over there about 2 o'clock. So I'm in a good spot. I'm on the inside, so I'm still taking the shorter line. But I think with that lull, it brought a lot of people forward because of their momentum. So right now, I'm still in good position. We got Louis right here to my left. I believe this is the last lap, ladies and gentlemen. I believe this is the last lap. This is I believe this is the bell lap. So right now I'm sitting behind Louis and I'm losing places. We got teams forming up. You see there we got Mike, his teammates behind him. I jump on Mark's wheel right here in front of me. So I'm sitting on Mark's wheel. I think I've ridden with Mark a lot. And so there we go. We got Louis going up. We have more people moving up. And so I jump on that wheel. So we're moving up. We're moving up. People are out of the saddle. So I'm trying to stay relevant in this race. So right now, I believe I'm going to move up and pass some of these riders to bring me a little bit forward, a little bit more forward, closer to the front, because this is the last lap. Okay, maybe not moved up to the front so far yet. So right now we see it's getting a little sketchy, and that is typical of the last lap. The last lap, ladies and gentlemen, it will always get sketchy. Just be on your P's and Q's. Let your little antenna, let them things be on the high alert, because it happens. So right now we see Elijah Baker in front of me out of the saddle. I'm coming up, and you see it keeps lulling because people don't want to be up front pulling. So Carl, and this is now me moving up a little bit. So now I'm moving up. I'm passing a few riders. I passed about 3 or 4 riders. And see, again, it's a consistent moving. Like I move up, I fall back, move up, fall back. I got Dustin Benedict to my left right here with the LEL kit on. And again, I have Russ right there with the IRZ. He's on the inside. So I'm right behind Peter Verth right now. And so we're going. Final turn. We're coming now. The little bump in the road. I'm sitting behind Peter Verth, hoping that he finds an opening. He has a nice, strong motor to be able to really just drive. And so I'm sitting here. We get sketchy right there. Get sketchy. Russ was like, bro, you almost gutted me. It was intentional, as we and him talked about it. So right now we're coming to the start, and you see nobody's really hammering. This again shows a big difference between the higher category levels and the lower ones. So right now I'm racing with category 3s. I'm a category 4. So right now there's not many places for me to go right now. I'm kind of boxed in. I'm stuck. I'm on Elijah. I go underneath Elijah. We got Kevin right here at the side. I have a little gap right here. I'm going to close this gap down, but that still doesn't leave me anywhere to go. I'm on Big Orange's wheel. Again, I have nowhere to go. Your boy is boxed in, sitting behind Samuel. Nowhere to go. I go underneath. Russ has a good line, so I come up. And I'm now sitting next to Peter Verth. So now I'm still holding inside because I believe that's the shortest line. I'm boxed in again. I got the guardrails to my left, Peter Verth to my right, passing people, but everybody's at the saddle. And look, less than 50 meters away, come across the finish line. Ladies and gentlemen, I got 12th. I got 12th of 57, 3rd overall, Cat 4. Redemption was had. Thank you for watching this video. Please comment, like, subscribe. On to the next one with your boy C-Dub, aka Crit Whit. Peace.